we on here? Let me see here. All righty. All right, well, good evening, everyone. And Chag Sameach to everyone as we begin now our holiday of Simchat Torah as we celebrate the Torah scrolls. And we celebrate the ending of our reading of the Torah and the beginning of our reading of the Torah as well. We come to the very end and we come to the very, very beginning. We're going to open up our Siddur to page number 4. We are in Mishkan Tefillah on page number 4. As we begin with a Ma'ariv service, as we all rise for Baruch Hu. The top of page 4. Lai the lai 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 lai. Lai the lai 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 lai. Lai the lai 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 the lai 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 lai. Lai the lai 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 lai. Lai the lai 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 lai. Lai the lai 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 lai. Lai the lai 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 lai. Lai lai lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach. HaMevorach le'olam. We can all be seated as we turn to page number 7. In the middle of the page, ever-living God, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to the power of your wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish from our sight. But your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from our lives. Help us to become co-workers with you and fill our days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv arivim. Praise for you, O God, who brings on creation. Page number 8. A prayer that gives thanks for the Torah that we celebrate tonight. Ahavat Olam. With an eternal love of the world, you love us by giving us the gift of your Torah. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Ukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadita. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, Mishofeinu v'kumeinu, Nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed, ki hein chayenu be'orech yameinu, u'vahem nehege yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu la'olamim. Never remove your love from us, Adonai. We praise you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel, by giving us the Torah. Page number 10 and 11. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Page 12. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha Uvchol me'odecha vehayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech uvshokpecha uvkumecha Ukshartam le'od al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beinenecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha, leman tiskeru, v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim le'loechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. On page 16, we sing the words that our ancestors sang as they made their way out of Egypt on their way to freedom. We celebrated that journey of living in the Sukkot that they lived in for 40 years in the summertime with our Sukkot holiday that we just finished. In another 6 months or so, we'll celebrate the holiday of Pesach, of that freedom. As we made our way out of Egypt, we sang these words: Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders? The top of page 16. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot, osei peleh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam nifli Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'omru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. We give thanks for God watching over us through the evening. And as we do so, we say, it's the third line of the prayer on page 18, Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. O God, spread a shelter of your peace over us. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha. Yalai lai lai, yalai lai lai, yalai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai, yalai lai lai, yalai lai lai, yalai lai 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 lai. Ufros aleinu sukat, sukat shlomecha. We make our way to our festival Amidah. We have a special Amidah that we say on festival evenings. And so page 468. 468 is where you want to be. As we will all rise for our festival Amidah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. 470. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'koneh hakol v'zocher chasdei avot ve'imahot u'mevi gula livnei v'neihem leman shemo be'ahava melech ozer u'moshia u'magen Baruch atah Adonai magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Top of 472. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai mechayei hakol atah rav lehoshia Mashiv haruach umorid hagashem mechalkel chayim vechesed mechaye hakol berachamim rabim somech noflim verofech oholim umatir asurim umekayim emunato lishenei afar nichamocha ba'al givurot Umido melach, melech me'mit u'mechaye, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. 474. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kidoshim b'chol yom yahaladucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. We continue with the blessing of this day on page 478. Ata v'chartanu mikol ha'amin, ahavta otanu v'ratzita banu, v'rotanu mikol ha'lishonot, v'kidashtanu mitzvotecha, v'kiravtanu malkinu lavodatecha, v'simcha ha'gadol v'kadosh aleinu karata. You have chosen us in love and favor by making us holy through your mitzvot, and drawing us close to your service, that through us your great and holy name may become known in all the earth. V'titen lanu Adonai Eloheinu ba'ahava moadim l'simcha chagim smanim l'sason et yom hashmini Chag ha'atzeret hazeh, zman simchateinu, mikra kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim. In your love, Adonai, you have given us feasts of gladness and seasons of joy. This festival of Atzeret Simchat Torah, season of rejoicing, to unite in worship and recall the Exodus from Egypt. We turn to page 481 as we read together at the top of the page. Many generations later, redeemed from slavery, Abraham and Sarah's descendants stood at Mount Sinai. The ancient promise was to be confirmed, the ancient mandate reasserted and enlarged, the ancient covenant renewed and sealed to bind all future generations. When God revealed the Torah, no bird chirped, no fowl beat its wings, no ox bellowed, the angels did not sing, the sea did not stir, no creature uttered a sound. The world was silent and still, and the divine voice spoke, I, the Eternal, am your God. Zochreinu Adonai Eloheinu, bo letova. We all say Amen. Ufokdeinu bo livracha. Vehoshinu bo lechaim. This day remember us for well-being. Amen. This day bless us with your nearness. Amen. This day help us to a fuller life. Amen. We continue on page 484, or if you like the poetry instead of the prayer, 485, and we continue through the end of the Amidah silently, which ends on page 492 and 493. You can pray the words that we find in your Siddur, or the words that you find in your own heart and your own soul. When you're finished with your silent prayer, please be seated. Say shalom bimromah, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromah, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עושה שלום יומם, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום יומם, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל. You were close. Yisrael. You were almost with me. Almost. Sort of, kind of, almost. Okay. We turn to page 494. In just a moment, we're going to remove some Torah scrolls from the ark. We are going to dance. We are going to sing. We are going to read a little bit of Torah as well. We're going to do it in a little bit of a different way because it's COVID time. So that makes it a little bit different. This is not your average Simchat Torah or your normal Simchat Torah because this is not your normal year. So we're going to hear a little bit of Torah. We're going to dance a little bit with Torah, but in a little bit of a different way. And so, if you'll turn to page 494 with me, as we all rise. Ein kamocha va'Elohim Adonai, ve'ein kema'asecha, malchutecha malchut kol olamim, umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'ador. Adonai melech, Adonai malach, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. Av harachamim, heitiv avirtzoncha et Zion. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim. Ki vecha levad batachnu, melech el ram v'nisa adon olamim. The bottom of the page. Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, udevar Adonai me Yerushalayim. The top of 496. Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. In the Torah, Moses is having a conversation with God, and God tells Moses to tell the people that I am a compassionate God. and that the people should be reminded of this compassion. We take those words directly from the Torah as we chant them 3 times, right there near the top of page 496. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed Le'alafim, Nose Avon V'Fesha, V'Chata'a V'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed Le'alafim, Nose Avon V'Fesha, V'Chata'a V'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed Le'alafim, Nose Avon V'Fesha, V'Chata'a V'Nakeh. Let's see which is the lightest one. That one's heavy. We'll go with this one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh V'Norah Shemo. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh V'Norah Shemo. Gadlu Adonai iti Unoromima Shemo Yachdav. Adonai Hagidura V'Hagivura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetzach V'Hahod Ki Cho B'Shamayim U'V'Haaretz Ki Cho B'Shamayim U'Haaretz Lecha Adonai Hamam Lecha V'Amid Na'aseh Lecho L'Rosh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'Hishtachavu Le'Hadam Raglav Kadoshu. Not yet. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'Hishtachavu Le'Har Kodsho Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Now I told you we're going to be a little bit different. We're going to have you all be seated. And you're going to turn to page 498. Now, a little trivia question for all of you. It's a yes or no question. Let's see how you're going to do. If you are under the age of 13, are you allowed to have an Aliyah out of the Torah? Raise your hand if you think the answer is no. Raise your hand if you think the answer is yes. Let me try this again. Ready? Raise your hand if you think the answer is no. Raise your hand if you think the answer is yes. There is one day a year where it's acceptable for someone under the age of bar mitzvah to have an Aliyah out of the Torah. Anybody want to guess what day that might be? It's Simchat Torah. That's what it is. And so, all of us together, adults and children together, are all going to say the blessing for reading from the Torah, which you will find on page 498. Are you ready? Here we go. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol hamim. V'na'atan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. we say these words of V'zot HaBracha, the final chapter of the book of Deuteronomy, the very, very end of the Torah. Vaya'al Moshe me'arvot Moav el har nevo rosh hapiska asher al pnei Yericho vayar'ehu Adonai et kol haaretz hagilad adan ve'et kol naftali ve'et eretz Ephraim u'menasha ve'et kol eretz haYehuda ad hayom ha'acharon ve'et ha'negev ve'et ha'kikar bikat Yericho ir hatmirim ad soar vayomer Adonai elav zod haaretz asher nishbati la'Avraham u'liyitzchak u'liyaakov lemor uzaracha et neina v'haritecha ve'einecha v'sama lo ta'avor vayamat sham Moshe eved Adonai be'eretz Moav el pnei Adonai v'ikbort oto b'gan haaretz Moav mo'el beit peor ad yada ish habevurato ad hayam hazeh v'hosia ben Nun malei ruach chachama al samach Moshe et yadav elav v'yishmeu elav bnei Yisrael v'asu kasher tziva Adonai et Moshe v'lo kam nevi od b'Yisrael keMoshe asher yadu Adonai panim el panim v'kol haytot המופתים אשר שלחו אדוני לעשות בארץ מצרים לפרעה לכל עבדיו לכל ארצו. We're at the last sentence. Here we go. ולכל היד החזקה ולכל המוראה הגדול אשר עשה משה עיני Kol Yisrael. On page 498, let's say the blessing afterwards. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. And now, everybody needs to stand up. If you are of the age of 13 or younger, I need you to come up here right now. If you are 13 or younger, I need you to be up here right now. Hurry, 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 hurry. I got one for you. Here we go. I got one for you. Here we go. I got one for you. I've got one for you. I've got one for you. All right, who's the next youngest person in the room? Not of you guys up here. Here, hold on. Annabelle, I think it's you. I have one more in my hand, Annabelle, so it's got to be you. All right, here we go. Now, normally we would take out all of our Sifrei Torah, all of our Torah scrolls and dance with them, but this being the COVID times that they are, we're going to dance with one Torah at a time, and we're going to try to social distance a little bit. So here's how this works. While I sing for this first Hakafah, Elena's going to walk around the outside perimeter if we can. I don't know if that tree's in the way, but we'll see. We're going to walk around with the Torah scroll. All of my crown carriers here are going to march right behind her and make the crown's bells all sing to us, and all the rest of us are going to follow behind them. Are you ready? No, you're not ready. Are you ready? There we go. So, for those of you who would like to follow along, I'm going to sing one thing. You guys are going to sing Hoshiana. Try that. Hoshiana. Are you ready? Elohei Haruchot. Hoshiana. Hoshiana. Now your next part is Hatzlichana. Bochen Levavot. Hatzlichana. Goel Chazak. Anenu biyom koreinu. Anenu, anenu biyom koreinu. Anenu, anenu biyom koreinu. Anenu, anenu biyom koreinu. Anenu, anenu biyom koreinu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodsho. Yeah, go again. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu Vehishtachavu Behar Kodsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Alrighty, are you ready? Your part is Hoshiana. Dover Tzedakot, Hoshiana, Hoshiana. Hador Bilvusho, Hatzlichana, Hatzlichana. Natik B'yachsid, Aninu B'yom Koreinu. And now let me see, Elena, who's our next Torah carrier? Who wants to be our next Torah carrier? D was waving around first. All right. Where were we? I think we were singing. Aninu, aninu, biyom koreinu. Aninu, aninu, biyom koreinu. Aninu, aninu, biyom koreinu. Aninu, aninu, biyom koreinu. Al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim. Ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, ha'olam omed. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim. Al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. Al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gimilut chasadim. I think Maggie is our next Torah carrier. Are you ready to remember your part right here, everybody? Your part right here. Let's see if you remember. Zeya Zach Yashar, Hoshiana, Hoshiana. Chomer Dalim, Hatzlichana, Hatzlichana. טוב ומיטיב, ענינו ביום קוראנו, ענינו ביום קוראנו, ענינו ביום קוראנו, ענינו ביום קוראנו, ענינו ביום קוראנו. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu Chai, Od Avinu, Od Avinu, Od Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael 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 Chai. It looks like Eli is our next Torah carrier. Yodea Machashavot, Hoshiana, ready? Hoshiana, Kabir V'Naor, Hatzlichana, Hatzlichana, Lo Mishtzedakot, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu. Elech Hamda Libi, Kutanam Ve'ana Titalem. 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 It looks like Ilana is our next Torah carrier for Hakafa number 5. Melech Olamim, Hoshiana, Naor Ve'adir, Hatzlichana, Somech Noflim, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu, Aninu B'Yom Koreinu. Oh, Yishama, Be'arei Yehuda, U'Bechutzot Yerushalayim. Oh, Yishama, Be'arei Yehuda, U'Bechutzot Yerushalayim. Kol satzon ve'kol simcha, kol chatan ve'kol kala, kol satzon ve'kol simcha, kol chatan ve'kol kala. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oh, Yishama, Be'arei Yehuda, U'Bechutzot Yerushalayim. Oh, Yishama, יהודה ובחוצות ירושלים. Hakafa number 6. Are we ready? Here we go. Are we ready? Okay, here we go. Hakafa number 6. Ozer Dalim. Hoshiana. Ready? Hoshiana. Podeu Matzil. Hatzlichana. Hatzlichana. Surolamim. Aninu b'yom koreinu. 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 Hava nagila hava nagila hava nagila benismecha. Hava nagila hava nagila hava nagila benismecha. Hava neranina hava neranina hava neranina benismecha. Hava neranina hava neranina hava neranina benismecha. Urachim urachim l'sameach urachim l'sameach urachim l'sameach urachim l'sameach urachim urachim l'sameach. Hava nagila nagila benismecha. Hava nagila nagila benismecha. Hava neranina benismecha. Hava neranina benismecha. Urachim urachim l'sameach urachim l'sameach urachim l'sameach urachim l'sameach urachim l'sameach. Hakafa number 7. One more Torah carrier I think we've got, right? All right, are you ready? Hoshiana is your first line. Tomek temimim. Hoshiana. Hoshiana. Takia rachum bechanun. Hatzlichana. Shomer abrit. Aninu b'yom koreinu. 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 Situ et Yerushalayim hiduva. Hiduva kol ohaveh ohaveh. Situ et Yerushalayim hiduva. Hiduva kol ohaveha. Achomotai efir David et tzadikim sholim. Kol hayom vekol halayla. Achomotai efir David et tzadikim sholim. Kol hayom vekol halayla. Situ et Yerushalayim hiduva. Hiduva kol ohaveh ohaveh. Situ et Yerushalayim hiduva. Hiduva kol ohaveha. Achomotai efir David et tzadikim sholim. Kol hayom vekol halayla. tzadikim vekol sholim. Kol hayom vekol halayla. Situ et Yerushalayim hiduva. Hiduva kol ohaveh ohaveh. Situ et Yerushalayim hiduva. Hiduva kol ohaveha. And now we're going to bring all of our crowns back up to the bima to put back up on our Torah scrolls. Alrighty, crown people, come on, bring them over. I'll take this one right here, and I'll take this one right here. Perfect. I'm going to take those two right there. Excellent. I'm going to take this one right here and this one right here. Thank you very much. And then where's my last two right here? I'm going to take these right here. I'm going to put them right there. As we close our ark doors for a moment and we all get ready, we're going to bring our Torah to stand right up here again on the bima. We read the end of the Torah. As our Torah is here, we can now all sit down because we're going to be reading together here. We're all going to go back to page number 498. Page 498. As we say the bracha for reading the Torah, we read the very end of the Torah, and now we're going to read from the very, very beginning of the Torah. So we say the blessing together. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach. Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai Noten ha-Torah. Amen. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'haaretz hayta tohu vavohu v'choshech al pnei tehom v'ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei tehom v'yomer Elohim yihi or v'yihi or v'yar Elohim et haor ki tov v'yavdel Elohim bein haor uvein hachoshech vayikra Elohim laor yom lachoshech kara laila vayi'er vayivoker yom echad vayomer Elohim yehi rakia betoch hashamayim vayihi mavdil bein mayim lamayim vayas Elohim et harakia v'yavdel bein hamayim asher mitachat larakia uvein hamayim asher me'al larakia vayhi chen vayikra Elohim larakia shamayim vayhi erev vayivoker yom sheni vayomer Elohim v'kavu hamayim mitachat hashamayim el makom echad v'tera'eh hayabasha yihi chen vayikra Elohim leyabasha eretz u'mikaveh hamayim kara yamin vayar'eh Elohim ki tov vayomer Elohim tadshe haaretz deshe esev mazriya zera ach pri Ose pri lemino asher zar ovo al haaretz yichen v'totzi haaretz deshe eshev mazri azera leminehu va'et ose pri asher zar ovo leminehu Vayar Elohim ki tov vayira vayivoker yom shlishi. We say the blessing after reading. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch ata Adonai noten ha-Torah. And now we're all going to rise as we turn to page 514, as we return our Torah to the ark. Yahalelu et shem Adonai, ki nizgav shemo levado, hodo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo, tihila lechol chasidav, Livnei Yisrael am kerovo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Eitz chayim hi lemachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom. Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. We can all be seated. As we turn in our Siddur to page 642, we end our service this evening with a song of great joy.